How are you, dear students, again, and welcome back to our science session of today. In our today's session, we'll continue our lesson about rocks. As we learned in the last session, that rocks are classified according to their formation, or how they are formed. So we classified these rocks into three types, or three main types. The first one is igneous rock. The second type is sedimentary rock. The third type is metamorphic rock. So we have here the igneous rock. In our today's session, we're going to be talking about igneous rocks and the second type, which is sedimentary rock. So igneous rocks, do you remember from the last session that igneous rocks formed when melted or molten? We said that it will be formed from melted or molten rocks called magma. This magma comes from volcano. Before we start, I want you just here to see and remember the volcano and magma. Yes, perfect. All of these are magma or lava. It comes from down from the lower layers in the earth, below the earth's surface. So we will see it moves right now like, look here, it moves like a river. Yes, like river. And sometimes it may be fly like this. Look, sometimes find some parts flying away like this. Oh, great explosion. And we have here moving like a river. Let's move together and continue our session. Yes, we said that igneous, it comes from molten rocks called magma. Right now we have the molten rocks is called also lava, another name for it. So once lava hits the water, do you remember this picture from the previous session? Yes, when the lava hits the water, what will happen? It will cool and change it into what? I hear one of you, yes, perfect, igneous rocks, perfect. So right now I want you to know these two informations about lava oozes from a volcano like a red hot river, or they may fly from a volcano in a hot gooey globes. So right now here the volcano, and here when it flies. Yes, when it flies. So let's move. If you know of this, yes, it's our planet Earth. Here is the surface of the Earth, or the Earth's surface. So here inside the Earth we have many layers, and when the volcano erupts, it starts from here below the surface of the Earth, and after that this volcano or the lava moves from down to up, from here to the surface. So here we'll talk about above the Earth's surface and below this Earth's surface. So here, lava on the Earth on the surface cools quickly. Lava, you know that the lava is very hot. Yes, perfect. Lava is magma, is very hot. Okay, on the surface it cools quickly. It may harden into solid. What is solid now? When this lava becomes cool, and after that change into solid. So this solid called igneous rock. It can be formed in just few minutes or few days. So what after? The crystals. You know that all these rocks are made of minerals, and these minerals are made of crystals. All the crystals are very small, and we have two examples for this kind of rocks or igneous rocks above the Earth's surface. The first one is pumice, and the second one is basalt. So let's start here. We have those two examples, but what's the difference? Here the pumice forms when air cools lava. So all of them formed quickly, but actually this formed when air cools lava. By the way, this pumice you can find it in markets and different places. It's a light and looks like sponge in its shape. So basalt forms under the ocean. It means when the lava comes from the volcano and it touches or hits the water, it can be formed into this, can changed into this, into basalt. Basalt formed when water cools lava, but here when air cools lava. Right now, this under the title of magma cooling quickly in your science book. But now let's move to below the Earth's crust or below the Earth's surface. Here the magma cools slowly. The inverse, you can inverse, cool slowly. It may harden in solid igneous rocks. Perfect. All of them igneous rock. But this cools slowly. But the previous one cools quickly. Right now we have, it may harden into solid igneous rock in what? Let's remember here, look, this here can change into a few minutes or few days, but here in a million years. Yes, perfect. In the previous one, above Earth's surface, crystals were small, but here crystals are large. This under the title of magma cooling slowly. Right now, let's move to the second type, which is sedimentary rock. So let's remember sedimentary rocks. You know from the last session, it forms when layers of sediments. Do you remember what are sediments? I told you if you have sand, shell, and bits of rock, all of these together in a small mix it together, we can call them sediment. Yes, sediment. Settle on top of one another and harden. They will form layers. As we said before, they will make a pressure on each other's. So they will make layers and layers and finally give you the shape of rocks. So here scientists classified sedimentary rocks according to materials. Each one of them consists of what this material inside it. So let's see together. Here they classified this into three types of sedimentary rocks. The first one, according to materials, it's made of living things. Some of them made of living things like this. Limestone. This limestone made of hard skeleton. Yes, hard skeleton and shells of sea animal that lived long time. Do you know the shells and sea animals? Yes, they lived long time. After they die, they give you, do you remember, fossils? And finally, their bodies make this form of rocks. Yes, limestone. So the first one about materials, when we separate everyone away from the other and we arranged them, we found that there are three kinds. The first kind we can say made of a living thing like this, limestone. This is the first example. We have another kind number two, it made of here. Yes, it's made of a grain of sand, like sandstone. From its name, here sand and here sandstone. So, can form from quartz sand. This is important information. Do you remember the mineral called quartz? We have corundum, quartz, diamond, and different. And this quartz sand, it can be formed from quartz sand. So we have now the last type, which consists. It can be made of tiny particles, very tiny particles. They can form this third kind, and for example, it's mudstone and shale. We have two examples for this. These two examples are mudstone and shales. Finally, you can say these particles or these particles, it's a very tiny particles. Here, these particles usually settle at the bottom of lakes and ocean. You can find it in the bottom of lakes or oceans. Now, let's quickly, we can exhibit now what we studied in our today's session. The informations quickly. Yes, we can remember together that from the previous time we learned that we have three types of rock: igneous rocks, sedimentary, and metamorphic. And today, as we mentioned, the first two igneous rocks, and we remembered what happened and what the relation between igneous rocks and volcano. The words lava and magma. And we, after that, we compared between the shapes of magma or lava. Here in the shape of river, or here it can fly. And after that, we mentioned that we have air surface, above the earth surface and below the earth surface. Here we said that above the earth surface, we said many informations about that lava can cool quickly, and you can inverse everything with below earth surface. And we said that the crystals of the minerals that made up all of these rocks are very small, and under or below the earth's surface it will be large. We give you two examples like pumice and basalt, and we said this can be cooled because of the effect of air, and here, yes, because of water can cool it. So it's called magma cooling quickly. And after that, we mentioned that magma, in the inverse of the previous ones, below the earth's surface. We said the crystals are large, and we said that magma cools slowly, not quickly. It may take million years. So after that, we mentioned sedimentary rocks. As you know, the definition of sedimentary rocks is made of sediment. And we learned today that scientists classified into three types. The first type, according to the materials. The first one, what the materials made up this type. Here, living things. It made up of living things like limestone. And here, second type, from grains or grain of sand. Yes, perfect. Like sandstone. And finally, we mentioned some of them made of tiny particles or very tiny particles like mudstone and shale. And we said you can find it in the lake and ocean. Thanks so much for watching this video, and thanks so much for following us in our science session. See you next time, guys. Thanks so much.